Am I feeling late? Oh, open sky. Okay, shine the mother weed. Your best. Stay way. Open way. Open sky. Open way. Oh, the mother weed. Your best. day I wake, I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah. Every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling their side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Maury. Them poor rich kids get their money on phone it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah, we got the goods. Build them assets, build them up fast. Get rid of cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a blast from the past. We on the smash now, be prepared to hit the gas, yeah. Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel. Blood eye, yeah, we travel. Woo. That's my child. Woo. Blood eye, yeah, we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah. Sharing no haka from Virginia. Yeah. I know I'm more because I'm blessed. I know I'm more. I passed the test. We got to see with the true eyes. We need some brand new bright ideas. We got the hearts and some great minds, yeah. If we could all just be sincere. Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel. Try. Blood eye, and we travel. Woo. That's my child. Woo. Blood eye, and we travel. Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah.
75% of Americans currently do not have an estate plan. So who needs it and why? If you're over 18 and you don't know the answer to one of these questions, then it's probably you. So adults, who can make healthcare decisions for you if something were to happen today? Do you have the right set of documents to make sure your loved ones can be present for you? Parents, do you have the right set of guardianship documents to make sure that your children can be under the care of someone that you trust and that knows them, that cares for them and has their best interests at heart? Homeowners, would your family face probate if something were to happen to you today? Would you not rather make sure they don't face the delays, cost, and public nature of this court process? If any of these apply to you, here at Trustee Friend, we have simple planning options, whether you opt for a guided by a friend, guided by a planner, or guided by attorney option, making estate planning simple, affordable, and accessible to everybody. Don't believe me? Reach out to us today.
Hey, peace to the party. It's your homeboy reporting live. It's a beautiful Sunday service. We missed y'all last week. I was out celebrating, another return. Grateful for life. It's good to have family and friends, to move through this matrix, Rick. You feel me? So, and speaking of the matrix, our extended family, appreciate y'all. Steady growth. We've been at this for a while, doing it our own way, the autonomous way. You know what I'm saying? And, it's a journey. And a lot of y'all been seeing it in real time. So shout out to y'all. Hit that like button on your way in. Tap in the chat. Let us know your thoughts. Got a couple places we want to take it today before we get to the lecture. Those of y'all who've been rocking with us, y'all understand how this works. Sunday service. The beginning is current events, news / hot topics, and then we get into the bill. We're gonna talk about the Freedmen today. I always got to talk about the Freedmen because it always pop up. So obviously, it makes sense for us to be able to touch on that. So that's gonna be a good one as always. But I want to start it off, man. First, I'll salute to y'all in the chat, man. Y'all tap in, let me know everything good. You see me, you hear me. We moving and grooving. I already seen plenty of folks in the chat tapping in. Appreciate that. So while I was gone, I was disconnected from my usual activities of research, but I was tracking down certain things that happened because I had to come back and talk about it. And bruh, like right now, we living in a time that we have witnessed some historic events that when we long gone, they're gonna be studying in their history, talking about the events that we living through right now. And I don't think we really appreciating the moment the way we should. And us as historians, it's our job to make sure that folks know what's up. But we can't do that if we stuck into our own vices in the way that the system got us. And I'm gonna prove an example of that through two different ways and how this media is so powerful, right? So the first example is Trump called himself want to address the nation and show proof of the fraud that he been claiming a long time in regards to election. Now he has a personal interest in wanting to find out what happened based on his level of power because that affected him, and he been saying this ever since it happened. So we can't say this new, right? So we got to track what the man said. So long story short, I'm sure y'all have heard by now that he went and addressed the world. But the thing that caught my attention is that the media, the major media outlets straight up said they ain't even want to hear what the man had to say and cover it for the masses, which is crazy to me because Trump is media gold. You talk about Trump, it's going to bring money in, whether you talk about good or bad. Like clearly the media outlets know that because they talked about this man. Even when he wasn't president, they kept his name in the news. That wasn't for his benefit. That was for theirs, bro. You feel me? So to now for him to address the world and God say y'all don't want to cover it because of possible lies, like tell me what sense that make? Why wouldn't y'all just let this man say whatever his lies is, let the people decide, and then y'all can tear them apart with the fact checking bullshit they be doing, right? So to go off and say that they don't even want to air it for the people, and then nobody really was saying shit. When it comes to black media, folks was not covering this as the way they should. Like, bro, how could we have any person that's in power because of the people, and we don't get to hear what they say because y'all told us what he may be saying? Tell me what sense that made. But one of the main things that you can salute about Trump, the way he run his administration, hey boy, a lot of this stuff that he be saying, they put it up for public consumption. They got their own YouTube, their own media team, and they dropping shit. You feel me? He literally delivering a master class on how to do transparency as transparent as it'll get in that type of office. We can't say that he don't put his ideas, his execution up for anybody to say whatever they gonna say about the shit. Versus we didn't have people, they been in office, folks don't even know what they was doing in that motherfucker, bro. Let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? What you say? They say that's them saying us slaves and peasants need them. Exactly. That's exactly what it's saying. We don't want you to get it directly from the source. We want to tell you what he said and spin our narratives and make you feel all type of ways instead of what you actually heard this man say out of his mouth. The shit is really powerful, bro. But so I want to play. I'm going to show you how the proof already exists out here. And it's affecting our communities because all this shit they've been saying about the legal immigrants and the voting and them getting money, bro, that's not new. Think about what I'm saying. If you believe in the indigenous side of things, or just that the fact of foundational black, whatever you call yourself, if you say you was already here, then guess what? A new group of immigrants was able to vote. Think about this, why the whole 14th Amendment and things happened now. Took away the state right, went to federal. So now these new immigrants was all federal because federal is what got them there. So they're going to ride federal to the death. You get what I'm saying? This is an old play, so we need to be cognizant of what's going on because it's real. You feel me? But hey, check this out. I want to play a little bit what Trump had to say, and then I got the document. So I'm gonna show y'all. Hold on, this shit really so easy in this day and age, bro. All right, so y'all see my screen, right? So this the website. He said in the speech to go to whitehouse.gov. I know it dropped, but it's finna come back. When you click on any one of these boxes right here, it pops up documents like this right here. The shit that he say that he unclassified to put out, shit, they put it out. You feel me? So I went and got it, put my chat to work. Goddamn, I done chopped it up, broke it up, got it looking real good. So I know what he's saying is based on the fact that all these other organizations that went to, yeah, I see it say I froze. Did I shake back yet? Let me know. Okay, I bet. But yeah, but basically based on his position was able to declassify this information to release it. And we know why he would want to release it, because it's an aha moment for him. That he been saying this shit, right? But regardless, the point I'm proving is if they want you to know something and they want to put it out, it's a way they can do it. And he's showing that. You feel me? So listen to what he got to say real quick. Yeah, and of course, so obviously some things, when it comes to this, obviously there's going to be investigations behind this. They ain't going to tell you the names, the locations of places, but we're going to hit this in a minute. But this how it go when you get classified shit. Everything don't be included in it. That's just per the course. You feel me? Let me stop this real quick and bring it back because I want to make sure it has audio. And then y'all let me know if y'all can hear it. All right, I'm going to bring it back. All right, so y'all let me know if y'all can hear it.
Know that when they cast their vote, that vote will be counted accurately in a system, and that is to make that system secure, one where cheating and interference are not just difficult, but virtually impossible. Unfortunately, the system we have today falls catastrophically short of that standard. Tonight, I'm announcing the immediate declassification and release of exposes and really exposes like levels never thought possible to hacking, exploitation, and foreign interference. Just as disturbingly, this vital information has for many years been covered up and hidden from you, the American people, our beautiful, our great American people. But that all changes right now. The documents we will release starting tonight have been gathered by the White House Government Transparency Task Force, a great group of people, along with the staff of the President's Intelligence Advisory Board, supported by our top intelligence agency chiefs, who have all personally reviewed the findings. We are presenting this evening and fully confirmed their authenticity. You can see these documents for yourself at whitehouse.gov. That's whitehouse.gov. Go check it out. Our purpose in disclosing this information is not to weaken confidence in election, but to earn that confidence by confronting vulnerabilities and correcting them very, very quickly. And that's what we're doing. The documents cover 5 major areas of concern. First, they show that over a period of years, starting during the 2020 election cycle, the People's Republic of China carried out what is believed to be the largest compromise of election data in history, resulting in China's illicit acquisition of 220 million U.S. voter files. That information includes names, addresses, phone numbers, political party preferences, and other sensitive data that would be needed to register to vote and engage in other nefarious activities, which is exactly what was happening. This data loss presents an unprecedented election security nightmare. The intelligence even shows that China assigned a data exploitation unit specifically to this new project. Compounding the travesty, the second set of documents we are releasing reveals that members of the deep state, very, very famous group of people, in many cases, in our intelligence agency work to actively suppress and downplay information about the extent of China's sinister election meddling, covering it up from both the president and the American people like nobody thought was possible. U.S. spy agencies began learning about the compromise of voter registration files in 2020 when they discovered that tens of millions of voter data, think of that, tens of millions of voters' data in 18 states have been bought, stolen, or hacked by China. Yet those responsible for sounding the alarm instead kept the information secret and hidden. They did not disclose to me as president or to anyone else, and to the best of our knowledge, they did not inform Congress. In fact, all they kept saying is, this is the most secure election in the history of our country, a standard, very pat line that was divvied out to say. The cover-up of this colossal security breach is even more disturbing in light of the additional information showing that China engaged in other election-related activities to undermine my first administration and our 2020 campaign. They did not want, and they just didn't want it. They fought like hell not to have it, Donald Trump, to win, and for good reason. As the documents we are releasing show, CIA reporting explicitly stated, and I quote, in mid-2018, the Chinese Communist Party's policy was to leverage all domestic and foreign elements that were opposed to the U.S. president in an effort to reduce the U.S. president's votes and make him resign or prevent his reelection. Isn't that nice? Also, in mid-2018, China was working to influence the results of the U.S. midterm elections and later the results of the 2020 presidential election itself.
Hey, now, hey, so shout out to Trail, 100 Jewels, high five. I don't even know what this is, bro, but it sounds good. Appreciate you, brother. Hey, so check it out. I see it, and like he say right here, he exposed them, they lied and got away with it. So once again, y'all, remove your feelings about a person and observe what you see in real time, which is when have they ever took a president and they do not want to hear what the president has to say about corruption that he is alleged that he found that's going on right now with election fraud. Why would the world not want to hear that? Why would they? I remember when they used to do presidential addresses sometimes, and whenever you was watching, it would come take it off, and you had to watch. Y'all remember when they used to happen? So it's like something like this right here. Yeah, that's the time for that there. You feel me? So it's pretty crazy. Yeah, we say he been blaming China for the COVID. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So it's been a lot going on because China makes a lot of money because of America. So if certain politics don't go their way, such as they got to pay tariffs and different things, that's hurting their bottom line. But they don't want to stop doing business with America because we they golden goose. You feel me? And so that's why the leverage that we've been using just don't make sense. So, hey, once again, like I told you in the beginning of this, he said that you could go to the White House website, and that's where I went. Okay, every one of these pillars, you can download documents. So this Michigan voter registration is key here because a lot of folks gonna say, "Oh shit, what they got to do with us?" Right? So these immigrants ain't going to high-priced neighborhoods; they going to lower-income neighborhoods in Democratic-ran states. Which states are these? States where there's a lot of black people in certain instances, especially in the Midwest. You feel me? So we can track this in real time. So it's a group of people. I want to say his name, Lorenzo Jackson, out there in Detroit. I'm going to play his video here shortly because we got to understand what's going on when they come and replace another class. That class that they replacing is only going to get worse for them because now our vote, the Democrats don't need black folks for votes no more. And there ain't no factories that's needed for black folks to do jobs because everything's going to technology. What is going to be the place of the black American in this time moving forward? I don't believe that we looking at this the way we should. This is a really war, and we playing games, and it don't make sense for the historians to do this because we understand the history. But that's neither that. I don't want to get on no tangent on that. Y'all go to whitehouse.gov, get these documents yourself, and go look at a brief overview of what I'm finna show you. So right now in here, it's saying, this is one from the Homeland Security said this now. This ain't Trump words or my words or none of that. They saying over 250,000 non-citizens are legally registered to vote in just the 4 states for which the public data files have been reviewed. So that's just the non-citizens. They identify over 400,000 deceased registrants. So this is what they put on the paperwork, exposing to the world to see this and putting their name on it. So if they lying, you know who to go after. But this is what they say they found. You feel me? Okay, so with that being said, now I want y'all to go check these things out. Here go another document right here. This from the FBI. Pretty sure you heard of them. So I want to read this little brief passage real quick. It said, in fall 2020, blank, who was not married at the time and went by blank, went to some place where people were standing outside an office next door and asked if she wanted a job. The office was previously an eyeglass store, and it went into the office and applied, and they transitioned it to a place to register to vote. All right. So the whole play was essentially this: you need to go find folks that register to vote. And then it eventually came to it, say, hey, well, even if you can't find them, make them up. It's literally what they were saying here. Once again, it got the dates, it got what was said. Obviously, some stuff is going to be redacted. You just can't put personal names out here. The investigation still going on. We got to use common sense here. But the fact that they put this out, this didn't come from the news. This came directly from the administration we're in right now. So we, the people, should definitely be checking this out and see what's going on. It's literally a whole host of files. Like, let me see. Let's see if I can show y'all this. So here goes some of the files right here, bro. It's a whole zip file full of stuff that they just released. This is crazy. Like, I don't know in my lifetime in administration they've been rocking like this, where they just showing shit like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie. We got to keep it a buck. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy right now, but definitely look into that. But so, hey, look. So this is where I'm going with it. Now, watch this video right here.
Got proof that they cheating in elections.
Election fraud is the greatest form of racism in the history of humanity.
They using people that's right here that ain't never left. They said they received the application and they say they returned it all in one day.
Oh, wow.
They did all this on the same day. Simone, is that your signature on that ballot?
No.
21-year-olds in this area right here, look at this. You telling me they care about voting absentee? Right. Yeah, right. Do this look like your envelope?
No, not at all.
It look like your handwriting on that envelope?
No. A chill in my body like they stole from me. I'm like, oh man, this is a purpose.
My name is Melissa Love. I am the evidence. I did not vote in 2020. Voter fraud is affecting our people and forced to live in poverty because of it.
The people in this community being voted for illegally. That's what's happening. We are living affidavits.
They contacted the FBI in Detroit. Canvassers admitted to FBI agents that they signed voter registration forms in other people's names.
Well, I never vote absentee. I always go to the poll.
So then when I check my voting record, like, voting absentee? I don't vote absentee.
What's going on?
Is that your signature? Did you sign that, Ms. Linda?
No, that's not my signature.
So you know 100% it's not yours.
That's not mine.
I can't unsee the atrocities that I've seen. I've seen too much. I would have to be crazy to go back to a normal life after all what I witnessed.
It's political rape. You are ravishing someone. You are violating them. That's what's happening to the people in my community.
Something needs to be done.
We have evidence that the election was stolen. Here's the proof, I'm the proof. They can't prove you wrong, you know what they do? Ignore you. We call these voter trap houses. They put voters in these houses, have them work voting in these houses, and we got like 300,000 parcels. So if you put 1 and 2 in each one of these parcels, you spread it out across the city, it's gonna be many. I've been in this community all my life.
We found our friends and families that have moved out of the city of Detroit. Dead people, we done found they illegally voting people that's in the Wayne County Jail, not necessarily even from Michigan. This is not a black or white thing. This is a people thing. If they gonna cheat us, or they coming to y'all neighborhood.
If everybody was to wake up, oh man, they would be in trouble. But we're gonna make sure that they wake up.
I'm ready. I fight you and everything. I'm not scared of nothing you doing to me. Whatever you, I'm not scared of what you gonna do.
Hey, them look like Black Americans to me. That's out there saying, hey, we proved it. We living witnesses to what this man's saying. See what I'm saying? And this Detroit. It's a black ass city, ain't it? Feel me? But these are the places that they want immigrants to be. And once again, not against legal immigration. Hey, this country made it your right to be able to come over here and do that. Cool, but it should none of us be supporting illegal immigration, especially when our neighborhoods is the place that they gonna come and set up shop. This is systematic, bro. You want to wipe people out. You don't do it in a 1, 2, 3 years. It's hundreds of years of planning. And we watching it happen right now. And you got folks around here cheering his own, happy. They got us right now. I done seen somebody, I forgot his name, Quanell X or somebody, he was out there saying that the biggest threat to black people right now is this man. So the shit that he's saying, like right there, that's a threat to us. Come on, man, make it make sense, bro. So shout out to them brothers out there in Detroit who doing that. And one of the sisters in there said, man, people was to wake up, man, it'll be over. And that's, that's the pipe dream that we have, that it'll be the man. But I ain't gonna lie. I lose confidence in what's possible with us, boy, because with all the tools and things that we got right now to be able to challenge the narrative and, get a real understanding, boy, we using it for all the wrong reasons. Shit really crazy. Like I ain't seen many black outlets even covering this, talking about these documents, what was found, and you already know why, because it implicate a lot of your favorite Democratic people. But black folks gonna say he just made this up. So he made the FBI, the CIA, all these folks, Homeland Security, he made all of them lie. Bro, this is crazy. So if that's true, then the biggest corruption, they didn't got presidents up out of there before through paperwork, right? They got Clinton out of there. We had the Watergate situation. So this should be an easy one. You feel me? So this should be light work. Hey, but I don't know, bro. So be tapped in, bro. Know what's going on. That's the best that I can say. I hope that these things matter. I was gonna talk about some old Nolan Wells shit. I don't even want to talk about that shit because I already know how ignorant niggas is and not want to be tapped in with truth, just want to roll off emotion. But this is the best thing that I can say. Right now it's really going down. And the people that they are telling us we should be the most afraid of is really ones that we should be paying attention to the most and getting game and how to get things accomplished within this government, because it definitely take money and business acumen, but then the politics side matter, because everything that was part of reclassification or items that hurt our people, it was a political move first. It just is what it is. But hey, Gullah Man's Choir hit me. Say they ready. So man, we miss y'all. Gotta come back. Matt he told me how he want to come today, talk about the Freedmen, really get to this word and get an understanding. And that's where we're going to take it. So, once we hear that selection, we're going to get back. Hold on, You said they lying by this, they should eat. That's all I'm saying, man. That's all I'm saying. So, we're going to take it over there. We're going to be right back.
I start to feel alone. I just play the voicemail that I say before things change. Now I read the
Yes, Lord. We left this truth in harmony. They feed the world with the money that we get. Yet our little ones cry with so much life to live. Life to live. Life to live. We stand in the storm. But when the table's set, who's feeding us? Who's feeding us? Who's feeding us? Who's feeding us? Millions were taken that belonged to the children. Food meant for their hands never reached a building. A system built the doorway and opened it wide. Gave others all the comfort while we stood outside. The officers in power, yeah, pouring out hate. When not one gentle blessing reached the neighborhoods we made. They keep saying equity, calling it trust, yet the blessings keep on flowing everywhere but us. They made the world with the money that we get. Get our little ones cry. So much life to live. Ooh, life to live. Life to live. We show up faithful, no, standing strong and just. So in the table stand, who's feeding us? Who's feeding us? We carry the burden of taxes and patience. Still we watch our schools fade in desperation. Silence for the fraud when it happens far away, but scared hands eyes on us whenever we stray. Our voices keep lifting each election here, yet the love and protection never seem to come near. Promises repeated, settling it does, while resources in favor never fall us. Lift our hopes, Lord. Lift our hearts. Guide our children. Got that star. No more silence. No more hugs. Tell this nation. Who's feeding us? Who's feeding us? They feed the world with the money that we give. Then our little ones cry. So much life to live. Ooh, life to live. Life to live. When we stand in faith and offer our trust. Tell us again, who's feeding love? When we stand in faith and offer our trust. Tell us again, who's feeding us? 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 Who's feeding us?
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
They cut the story into pieces. Told us pick one. They gave me a color, said live inside this. Found my name down, made it fit in their system. Whole bloodline got trimmed to a sentence. Now I'm looking in the mirror like something been missing. Got rivers in me, they never mapped out. Got names in my bones, they never let out. Every time I felt different, I was dead, right? They just buried the truth under headlines. Split me up, then they labeled it clarity. Now we fighting over fragments of identity. If I'm everything, why they narrow me? I'm putting all my pieces. I'm a blend they couldn't blueprint. Every layer got a voice. Let it speak. It's that Creole soul. Unfold, don't fold. Every root I hold, turn me hold. It's that Creole soul. Not one code, I've been told. Now I know. Yeah. Feel that? That ain't confusion, that's memory. We've been walking around edited versions. Whole identity stuck behind curtains. Took the depth and traded it for surface. Now we searching for worth and what they purchased. But I feel it when the rhythm hit different. Like my body recognized what's been hidden. Certain sounds make my spirit sit up like you've been here before. I can't forget it. They simplified us just to manage the narrative. Turned inheritance into comparison. But the truth don't break under pressure. It just wait for the right ones to carry it. Don't dilute me, don't reduce me. Yeah, I'm a blend that couldn't blueprint. Every layer got a voice. Let it speak. It's that Creole soul. Unfold, don't fold. Every root I hold, turn me hold. It's that Creole soul. Not one code, I've been told. Now I know. I don't gotta choose a side, I don't gotta cut my ties. Every line inside me mine. Yeah. I'm the sum, not the fraction. I'm the truth past the caption. All my blood in alignment. Say it plain. We not one note, we harmony. Now I move like I carry an archive. Every step got a past that survive. I ain't searching for self in they boxes. I rebuilt it from what they tried to hide. So when I speak, it's layered intention. Not just pain, it's full dimension. We don't need their permission. We remember, that's the mission. Don't dilute me, don't reduce me. Don't dilute me. I'm a blend they couldn't blueprint. Every layer got a voice. Let it speak. It's that Creole soul. Unfold, don't fold. Every root I hold, turn me hold. It's that Creole soul. Not one code, I've been told. Now I know. They told us pick one. We picked all of it. That's power.
Check. Alright. Full of mass choir, man. A lot more coming soon. Let's see what Mac looking like. We're taking it over, talking about who invented the Freedman today. You've been sending me everything backstage, so I know you're ready. Let me see y'all. Mac, pop on camera when you're ready, bro. 1 second. So you can't hear me? Hey, in the chat, can y'all hear me? Let me know if we good. Tab in, let me know. You know we live. See what it looks like. Oh, he probably went back out, let me in. Yeah, big facts. The sum, not the fraction. You hear me? Tap in, man. Tap in. Hey, y'all let me know if y'all can hear me though. Mac. Okay, it was
It was me. I guess GMC.
Making me paranoid, bro. Yeah.
Hey, After I heard the song went off, it was like, hold on, I couldn't hear you when you came up though. You heard me though? Yeah. We had a little break, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, shout out to everybody that's live with us right now. It's your boy Mac Gaither, G Mac. You heard me? Gullah. You heard me? The harsh reality is live life autonomously. That's what we've been doing. You know what I'm saying? That's what we've been doing. Live life. You heard me? At GMC. Hey, who feeding us? You know what I'm saying? When you were just talking about what you call it? Trump and how that election thing, and when he showed the dude at the end, how he's talking about the ballots, and that's crazy work, bro. I don't know.
That's crazy, bro.
That's crazy work, bro. Like,
ain't nobody talking about it.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. Like, cause I never seen that before. I'm like, when you
that's what I'm saying.
That's when my eyes went up. Like, hold on, and even the Trump showing the fraud that's taking place is crazy. Like, he's showing you that these people were fraudulently. It was corrupt, bro.
Yeah.
Man, listen here. I'm bipartisan. See what I'm saying?
Correct.
I've been using that word. I'm a tolerance party. See, so I
that's facts.
Political term to use. So you won't put me on the side now. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm bipartisan. All right. So the autonomous party, we don't like to say we Democrats or Republicans, like you said, because the truth is the truth. And if we catch you lying on the Republican side about something, we're gonna call it out. And if we catch
same way
on the other side, the Democrats, we're gonna call it out. You know what I'm saying? We gonna because we autonomous on this side, so we bipartisan technically.
Yeah.
You heard me? As Maroon in Maroonville, you heard me? You know what I'm saying? So that's just how that lay out. You know what I mean? I want people to understand that. Hold on, get my volume up. I'm a little bit louder now. Is better?
Oh, I hear you good. You good.
All right, so, and I'm bipartisan. So, I'm trying to be, politically correct. You know what I'm saying? And and again, though, when you played that clip and the information that was there, that was good. That was good, by the way. I mean,
and that was in Detroit, bro.
It was good. And Chicago had the same problem. I mean,
but it's happening all over. That's just one of the few states where they calling it out. Bro, I'm willing to bet money every black area going through the exact same thing if they go check through it, bro.
Listen here.
I'm just saying. And you can see it in our everyday life. No matter where you go now, there's black. It used to be only black people in certain areas. It is nowhere like that no more, bro. It's changing.
To our own demise. You heard me? To our own demise.
We participating in it.
We participated in things, and ignorance will allow us to do so. And again, like you said, I don't got no issue with people that's coming over here. You know what I'm saying? And they doing it legally. You know what I mean? The system is set up that way. Funny enough, but because of what we're going to be talking about today, and people that like to use the word foundational, you know what I'm saying, that obviously would be tied to people that have been categorized as black, Negro, colored, you know what I'm saying, black or more, and going back to the time frame of being here prior to 1865 and how the immigration game came into play, you know what I'm saying, naturalization game come into play after that time frame, you know what I mean? And that's what we're going to get into, because see, I know, like, some people say it's lineage based, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, right? Because you obviously would have to be in the Americas prior to this time frame for this terminology to fit you. You heard me? Today, freedmen, you know what I'm saying? On a federal level. See, we're just talking about you was federal, state, and you know what I mean? So on a federal level, emancipation proclamation, right? That term fits anybody that has ancestry, you know what I'm saying? That's what we could free people of color or worse, right? I'm gonna show y'all some shit today now, but because we talking about current time of what our ancestry, since you were talking about what's happening in our cities right now, right? And how we the people that were there already, when the immigrants do come in, even if it's not illegal, they're coming most likely into your community before they go into the white
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what happened through history.
And that's
the Southern Homestead Act.
All that. It's just, it's not something you can't really go around that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not no fairy tales, not my emotions when I say these things. You know what I'm saying? I'm just, the facts are the facts, bipartisan wise. You know what I mean? Gotta call it how I call it. You heard me? Now, so within that context of that, you heard me? Yeah. You know, last time we saw y'all, you heard me? We did Virginia. You heard me? And right with that, we did Philadelphia, right? So before we go into all the different, we're gonna hit the states before the end of the year. We're gonna hit all the states. You heard me? We're gonna hit them all. everything tied to North America, etc. We're gonna hit them this year, in 26. You hear me? But we're gonna have to make little pit stops. You know what I'm saying? We've got guests and bills or things, especially after Virginia, and how we just got through, showing you information of the legal system of Virginia, the House of Burgess. You know what I mean? To the delegates of Virginia and all that. As we went through all that, I'm just trying to run y'all back a quick little reminder, right? If you didn't watch the last show, you hear me? So we have to now look at the terms like free people of color, and also how you could become a part of that Virginia, for instance, example, and not be a slave, right? If you're a Christian, and that how they showed you that on the timeline, we showed you how they changed it over time. You know what I'm saying? And made it to where even if you became a Christian, you being a Negro was still going to keep you in an inferior position within status of that system. Virginia. But in Philadelphia and Virginia are not moving the same way when we showed you Philadelphia. See what I'm saying? And certain things. Because brotherly love. You heard LeBron going to Philly, right?
It's crazy, bro. Yeah.
I know for everybody out there, I had to throw that in there, right? Ain't that something? We just did the Sixers. And guess what? LeBron said, man, I'm going to the original capital was, where all them free folk, you know what I'm saying? Where the prominent black places in America, as it showed you. Capital of America. So I guess, we'll see with that too. But as we were talking about the Sixers, right? Meaning 76ers, dealing with the actual, where it gets its name from, you know what I'm saying? Is going back in history and showing how people with brotherly love were moving because of William Penn. Penn might have been a sword type of thing. You heard me? He was doing a lot of things as we showed you. So now this week, Freedmen. You know what I mean? Freedmen, it's not a nationality just like Negro. Ain't a nationality. You know what I mean? But it is tied to a group of people, you know what I'm saying? Ethnically, that's tied to Americans, right? And if you, again, we're here going into the 1776 and then going into 1865, these terminologies are definitely being used. But where's the origin go back to? See what I'm saying? Is what we're going to get to tonight. But there's a video I want to show real quick of a brother. I thought it was interesting just before we go ancient on y'all. You heard me? Dealing with this Freedman term. LeBrie! You know what I'm saying? On all that good stuff. That I said opener next to it. I put opener.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
I got an email.
It's the only one I didn't get to send to you right away. But as he's loading that up, you know what I'm saying? Because today we got people now using terms like FBA, Sulan, ADOS. You got, different groups. You know what I'm saying? Like, and everybody has the right to self-identify if we agree to disagree with certain things within it, but that's your right. That's, you know what I mean? Like how it's Gullah Amakario on my side. You know what I mean? That's a covenant thing within it. You hear me? But it's, hey, I identify as it. You hear me? Maroon type shit. At the same time, me keeping a G with y'all, Gullah, I got to be real that, people that go with, you know what I'm saying, these identifiers who are Americans because of their heritage, lineage, and statuses that their heritage and lineage went through, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes when we hear these people have these conversations, it's like, do we not understand like the difference in certain things that's taking place? So that's why I felt like we need to go to the origin of it, because I think it's like, it's interesting at the same time. And before we go into talking about like the 5 civilized tribes and all that with the Freedmen terminology tied to it, I felt like we got to understand how this word Freedmen works within the systematic situation of it. But first, let's let Buddy slide on them real quick though. Whenever you're ready, Monte.
All right, let me know if you can hear it.
I'm going to just go ahead and keep this thing all the way 1,000 regarding that new song, Solan, Black American Princess, especially the part where they saying, if you ain't black, stay the F out the business. And I'm going to take it a step further. If you're not foundational Black American freedmen, stay the F out the business. And it was a little too many foreign flags being, flown in that video, if you ask me, as a way to try to, derail lineage-based momentum that we gaining, and trying to co-op everything, you know what I mean? And anyone, we see a narrative now where though they trying to, separate Solan from foundational Black Americans. Solan, along with foundational Black American, Freedmen, all of these are terms that we use interchangeably as foundational Black Americans to describe our FBA lineage. It's not one without the other. They both represent the same people, which is a non-immigrant to America, a Black person that's responsible for the building of America. And anyone, trying to say otherwise, remix what, Solan is, is the opposition, put out here to derail lineage-based justice and the momentum that we gaining on a Black FBA grassroots, such as this unconscious league. Just my thoughts on the matter, but stop trying to, interject what Solon is with all of these foreign themes that have absolutely nothing to do with it. Solon is just another way of saying foundational Black American. I almost forgot to add as well, family. We use that Freedman term. It's a couple terms we use now as foundational Black Americans. We use the Solon, we use the Freedman, and we also use that foundational Black American term, but in a legal setting, we use that Freedman term because the Freedman is, a federally recognized term. Just my thoughts on the matter, but stop trying to, sabotage and derail lineage-based momentum because what's being done, can't be undone. The wheels ain't going to stop moving for no one or anybody. Just my thoughts on the matter. Peace.
Yeah. I wanted y'all thoughts on it, though. Montaigne, what's your thoughts on what he's saying before we go into the bill tonight? You know what I'm saying? What you think?
So I always said that I like the direction that the FBA folks going in. I just don't like the execution side of what they do because Freedmen ain't the way to attach your. I get what they said in the fact of proving that your people was here at a certain time. That's why I agree with them. But the way in which you go and what legal classification you want to bind them to, that's why I disagree with them when it comes to that. The whole Freedmen want to say because like as if Freedmen is a good thing when that's really the paperwork execution of taking your people out of their indigenous status and going to this whole new system. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah. Oh yeah. So Kofi just say they're a white Freedman too. Exactly. That's true as well. It had nothing to do with your lineage.
Status interesting enough. Some people, that's why we're gonna go into this crazy enough ancient times and stuff to understand how this term was thrown around, where it come from, right? So, obviously, I think that because of the term emancipation, you know what I mean, there's Black folk out there that's tapped in indigenous folk as well. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been covering the colonial time frame. So that means people got colonized, just not, the indigenous people got colonized. The people they call Africans got colonized, you know what I'm saying? People got colonized, as they say. So in the case of the manner, what we talking about, though, within the status of it, I mean, the salon part, I'm not going to use that term at all, ever. You know what I mean?
Nah.
I think that's just another fancy term, like ADOS. Or, I'm cool with that. And we on Clubhouse, shout out to Clubhouse, can't front, Monte, we've debated Freedmen. I'm saying? So can't front on that either. That's why we ain't gonna say, I'm a Freedman, meaning as far as identifier, I understand that, like you said, our status of our ancestry federally being emancipated, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. You know what I'm saying? You can't go around that, right? Anybody in the chat disagree? Lawfully speaking?
Shit, they can't. It ain't nothing to debate in that.
13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. See what I'm saying? So, let's get to it then, man. Let's go. Funny enough, because of religion and certain things too tied to this, I had to throw this in there. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Because it's tied to the biblical book. You know what I mean? And Black churches, you know what I'm saying, when they used to take people through certain processes through the church, you know what I'm saying, baptisms, people might say, things like that nature, and then understand the lawful part of it tied to manumission, you know what I'm saying, or emancipating in a religious way, as they would say. You feel me? But then, of course, no one's going to say, oh, they were called freedmen, right? But still, free people were able going about it in a way because of the terminology that's in the biblical sense, that is tied to the term freedmen. That's in the biblical sense. So that's why I think the term is more popular than, in our ancestry of the term being used because of the biblical part of it. But then also we got to now take it back to, in the biblical part, in history-wise, what is it relaying to? See what I'm saying? Some people say it's just a story, right? Some people say it's just a story. But however, you know what I mean? The story is surrounded by systems and empires, etc., that we can go find outside of the religious book that would, what I would say, verify that this term was thrown around back then and it was used as a status type of thing. So let's there we go. So because how, our people, Black folk, dealing with slavery, right? So endorsed in the Bible. Some people, debate this. I want to show this because it's going to go into the Freedmen. It's all connected now. So walk with me. Let me slide on down. So, as an introduction to it, the central question, does the Bible endorse slavery or regulate an existing institution? See, it's the question there. I want to make sure I put it there like that for y'all. Objectives. Examine what they call the Old Testament. You know what I'm saying? You church folk out there. Examine the New Testament teachings for my folk out there. And it says compare biblical and Atlantic slavery. See, this is where they're making comparisons, right? When you understand the theological understanding of what's happening in America with the churches. All right, however, review interpretation. So we're going to slide down. So common sources, obviously, debt. You know what I'm saying? Ancient slavery. You know what I'm saying? So in the biblical sense, talking about debt. Obviously, war captives, criminal punishment, birth. That's right. Poverty. And the Bible addresses societies where slavery already existed. Right. So it's telling you like Egypt had slavery. You know what I'm saying? Rome, New Testament, talk about, you know what I mean? Persia, right? It's talking about in the book empires that had slaves, captives of war, etc. within it. So we're gonna slide down again. All right, just want to make sure y'all catching that. So Old Testament key passages for y'all that might want to go look into it: Exodus 21, Leviticus 25, Deuteronomy 15, Deuteronomy 23. It says these are laws. These laws regulate slavery rather than abolish it. You heard that? That's in the biblical sense. Those verses are tied to laws being regulated on slavery and how to deal with it. Right? So just gonna keep sliding, right? Hebrew servants, Exodus 21:2 and Deuteronomy 15. Look what it says: 6-year service. You know how they talk about how some people get manumitted in America? It was like 6 to 7 years, and they get
your credit right 7 years.
You know what I mean? Released. Look, released in 7th year. You see that? That's the jubilees and indentured, right? Indentured. They are servants, but they're indentured servants, right? Indentured. Virginia. We were just talking about Virginia. See how that worked? How the indentured servant, the biblical sense, and how, you know what I mean?
And they brought the Bible into Virginia.
Yes, right.
To do this exact thing.
Right. They brought the King James Bible, right? So they're regulating using this system, dealing with that book, and it's tied to how to regulate what we would call today indentured servants, slavery, war captives, all that. That's how they're looking at how they're using the morale of how to govern over the colonies, going into even America, United States of America. However, provision for new beginning. Look at that. Even talk about how we're going to give you a provision for once you get out of the 7 year that we're going to make sure you're straight. You know what I'm talking about? Go ahead and do your thing. You know what I'm talking about? New beginning now. You straight now. Go do your thing. You heard me? However the case, slide down. You know what I mean? Research. Think about all these things and how America worked certain ways. Protections. Kidnapping into slavery, forbidden. See Exodus. Injury could require freedom. Interesting, huh? Ain't that something? You injure somebody the wrong way.
Hey.
Look at this right
Number one.
Here.
Oh, damn, hold on. Bruh, number one, the kidnapping into slavery forbidden. Exodus 21:16, bruh, that one right by itself. And it goes in line with the charters. Remember when we was talking about Lee Cumming, about how these original charters was never calling for how they going to capture the African slaves and go against the book.
Right.
We know they did indentions. We got a whole lot of proof of that. That's by the book. What a kidnapping, what a whole bunch of where did they specifically King James them go get a whole bunch of Africans that they went and stole and brought into these colonies?
Wait a second. So what was it really a trade system? And that the labor terminology and the terms they're using at the time because of the contract and how they looked at people who were not Christians, right? Because that's what they did in 1492 with the trade system and put people on a lower tier, right? If you're not a Christian in our system and we use you for labor, this is how we're going to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? And that could be any group of people, indigenous to any areas outside of the Christian world. So that's why I think that's very interesting how and they had to remember you use the biblical sense from the Catholics to all these groups use this biblical sense on how they governing people, right? So freedmen tied to this, right? So escaped slaves not returned. Escaped slaves not returned. Ain't that something? When you talk about American, niggas were running north, going into the time frame of Civil War. And the northern states were like, we're not giving them back to the South. And he allowed those black men to enter to the Union Army and do certain things. Remember that? That's history now.
Yeah.
To freedmen, escaped slaves not returned, big. However the case, let's slide down. See protections. Foreign slaves. Leviticus 25:44 through 46 discusses acquisition and inheritance of foreign slaves. One of the most debated passages. People don't like to talk about it. I don't hear people talk about this one like that. But however the case, I thought it was interesting because it's still tied to foreign and slaves, meaning anybody outside of your nation, you know what I'm saying, that you bring in, and they're a slave inside your system labor-wise. Discuss acquisition and inheritance of foreign slaves.
And that sound like your will and trust in your estate. Shout out to trusted friend up there, but that's what that sound like to me, because we also seen that they was doing that. Somebody will pass, and in their last will and testament, they'll say, it'll literally say in there, my slaves go to such and such, and sometimes it'll be their family members.
That part.
But that makes sense when you track what family meant and an estate meant at this time. If you ain't own land, you was indebted to the landowner, even if that's your daddy or your grandfather or your grandmother.
That part.
There was women owning land too that they was willed when somebody else passed away. So you know what I'm saying?
Right. And that's why I wanted to go into it like that, because how that lays out like that. You know what I'm saying? I think it was very important for that to be kind of seen in the light that it need to be seen in. So, you know what I mean? This biblical part tied to this term and freedmen today. So slide down, foreign slaves, right? So we're getting close to it. New Testament, Rome's the referee. You know what I mean? Like how we just mentioned 1492 and what they did, right? New World and all. Rome is Rome, right? So Roman Catholic, Rome going back then. Now that the Roman slavery formed the backdrop. You heard me? Yeah. Rome's system is where this word freedman we're going to go into today. You heard me? Now, instructions given to slaves, masters, and churches rather than abolition. That's right. Rome's dealing with the term abolition just like we in America is. The abolitionist. Yep. You heard me? Okay, it's all connected now. Keep slide. See now, Paul and Philemon, and I'm gonna mess up that first one because every time I looked at the word, it messed me up. But Onesimus is received no longer as a slave, but a beloved brother. Oh, you gonna let them come on in and be a brother now after they went through all that? Ain't that something? So slide on down. I mean, this is all tied to this manumission and things like that. Yeah. Equity in Christ, Galatians 3:28, emphasizes equal standing before God. And I mean, everybody's supposed to be, in God we trust, right? Citizens now. Common law. Ain't that something? You see how you just see how that coexists with each? Yeah. Remember brotherly love like Philadelphia, right? William Penn, situation, right? Where you think he getting these things. See, these things are, you know what I'm saying? Think about what's going on now. So, key slide. So, comparison. Biblical slavery differs from race-based Atlantic chattel slavery, though both involve coercion and loss of freedom. You know what I'm saying? So, they're showing you that there was different things happening because the trade system, obviously, in the 15th, 17th, 18th, 17th, 18th century. But this time frame is obviously showing in the biblical sense. And Rome, again, is where we're going to get to. So I think that with that, comparison, some people like to say that it's the same people. I wouldn't say necessarily you could say that, you know what I mean? And obviously I've heard the Hebrew Israelites try to go there with that, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't say that you could say that because foreign people are going to be certain interpretations can throw people off, not knowing the real law system. So some view regulations as endorsement. Others see accommodation within an ancient context and an ethnical trajectory towards dignity and freedom. See that word freedom kind of tied to the word freedman, right? Freedom and freedom, right? Free me, your type shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about we can keep moving. So now what's the next one I got here? Conclusion. Bible regulates slavery in historical context, in its historical context. Whether that constitutes endorsement remains debated among scholars and theologians. So I wanted to ask y'all, what we just went through, can we say that the Bible is regulating slavery, or did it endorse slavery, or is it just dealing with talking about what the systems did?
Yeah, because you know, that's where it get real interesting, because if you study the law at the time and the phrases and the words that they use to describe even family, because family even come from a term of servitude, the term itself, the roots of it, that's what the meaning of it is, servitude to your other family members, right? So then you got this Bible that we know we already broke down, that they admitted and said that the principles of the Constitution, the Declaration, all that shit come from the Bible.
That's why we keep. That's what I'm doing. I always got to make that connection. Shout out to the ministry, the party ministry. You know, I got to show you we keep it real with the ministry side of talking about the biblical sense of things and how it's really supposed to be used, and understanding today how we could make it benefit us, or also the things that can hurt too. Some things you heard. So hey, you pick your poison. That's just conclusion with that. I wanted to get y'all thoughts. I put someone said both in the chat. All right.
Yeah.
Both. Okay. So it's endorsing it by saying that systems are dealing with slavery being okay. But if you go to war with somebody, can they tell you, hey, that we took captives in, right? And now we making them go through this system in order to be considered in the category like the person just put there. You hear me?
Mm-hmm.
So in the category of any system, if you got war captives, right, automatically, are you freeing them ever? Or are you gonna keep them perpetual, as we know some people say happened to us in America? All right, how they say chattel slavery type of thing, because our system obviously is not the same as the biblical one exactly, even though they did borrow, like you know what I mean? They used it, but they didn't give us all the verses properly. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
They didn't give you.
And then the biblical is leaning towards the indenture.
Right, and especially
not chattel.
Of how they let you now come into their system, or show you how other systems, especially how we're going to talk about Rome, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Does it. So I think that's the end. That's wanted to get that. I got a source though, outside of the presentation of the situation that shows something within the biblical sense. So I think that's my next one. The second one, I think it's a source, right?
The lineup. Was it a picture?
No, I think I saved it. Is it the picture? Wait a second now.
Yeah, because you did send me a screenshot or something.
Yeah, that's yeah. We can go to that. Matter of fact, I think
I don't know how big the screenshot is.
Yeah,
what's
not gonna probably be able to show how I got it. You know what I mean? So I'll probably just read from it in context. But first, let me just, and I think I can save it for when we get into more, get into later on when something else comes up. So just remember that screenshot. I just want you to see it too. Then, so you know what I'm gonna be reading from. Funny enough, I might ask you to pull something up from reading it. You know what I'm saying? So go to the next window. That's gonna be second.
Yeah.
Go to that. It's a source dealing with this right here. Taking us into Rome. Taking us into Rome. Rome was the referee. Another thing is too, in the biblical sense, until you get to Rome, New Testament, they talk about terms, and you have to think about it like, because their translations using the term slave, right? But if you go to their language of that time frame, they're not using the word slave. You know what I'm saying? They're not even using that term, bro. So I'm going to show that too. And how it correlates later on to what we do today, using the word slave, Slavic and all that good stuff we hear people talk about. You know what I'm talking about? Dealing with the ethnic group of people and how it came tied to them. But that had nothing to do with still the people that were war captives and punished a certain way, or wrongdoing within that system and now had to be punished, prisoned. You know what I mean? However, right? That's the biblical part of this. But this word libertine, right? Kind of sound like liberty, ain't it? Mm-hmm. Liberty and justice for all, right? So libertine, you see that Greek, that's the Greek translation of it right there, after it, right? And then after that it says, for the Latin libertinus, you know what I'm saying? A freed man. You see how they translated that? See how they translated that right there? Yeah, it's right there. So a freed man, all right? So that's English translation. That's from the English to the Latin to that Greek right there. Okay. Now occurs but once in the New Testament. That's why I was showing it to y'all, going through all the joints. We're gonna get to where it's at, right? The verse is there. So if anybody want to go, pull it up, they can. You know what I'm saying? Certain of the synagogue. Now we know who go to synagogues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the context of the New Testament, talking about a time in history, it is talking about Rome and how people tied to a synagogue, and how they now can become freed, libertine, within their Roman system, but still be going to their synagogues, though, interesting enough. But how, why are they using the word synagogue, right? Because they Jews. That's right. So when it says the synagogue of the libertines, that's what it says. Look, the synagogue is which is called the synagogue of the what? Libertines. Libertine. It says, and where's that place at? Cyrenian. You know where Cyrenian at? Cyrene, right? You know it's in North Africa, right? Just let y'all know. If y'all don't know that term is a place located in Africa. All right. And then Alexandrians, etc. Look where it gives you the verse. Acts 6:9. That's right. Acts 6:9. There it is. It says there has been. All right, 6:9. You can click on it again so they can see it one more time and highlight it. I'll read it for them. It says, then there arose certain of the synagogue, which is called the synagogue of libertines, and the Cyrenians and the Alexandrians, and of them of Sicily and of Asia, disputing with Stephen, right? Talking about people having a debate about certain things in the system they're in at these places where they do it at, like we do it, like black folks did it in America. They went to churches, right? Like the AME, you know what I'm saying? They went to church and had these discussions before they went on a national. It was like that. Same way these folks were doing it underneath Rome. But they had to go to their synagogue to have these discussions, you know what I'm saying? Even though they're freedmen or libertini, same thing, right? So within that case, it says, the structure of passages leave it doubtful how many synagogues are implied in it. Some, Calvin, Beza, Benigo, have taken it as if there were but one synagogue, including men from all different cities that are named. Winner, 8, on grammatical grounds, takes the repetition of the article as indicating a fresh group and finds accordingly 2 synagogues, one including Libertines, Cyrenians, Alexandrians, and others of Sicily and Asia. That's right. Thinks it unlikely that out of 480 synagogues at Jerusalem, the number given by rabbinic writers, you see the name, McGill, right, and then Ketib, those verses right there, however that worked for y'all, there should have been 1 or even 2 only for natives of cities and districts in which Jewish populations was so numerous. In Cyrene, 1/4, in Alexandria, 2/5 of the population. So I think I just read the same because of how cataracts.
2/5 of the whole.
Of the whole. Thank you. See, I know I skipped the line, went back up, and it says where I'm at. All right, and on that grounds assigns a separate synagogue to each of the proper names. Of the name itself, there have been several explanations. So Libertini, you know what I'm saying? This is make sure I don't look. I want y'all to see if I was capping this paragraph right here. So I ain't gonna cap with nothing. All right, look at this. Look at this. Look at here. The other names being local. This is also has been referred to a town called Libertum. Remember that work when we
consular province of province of Africa. Yeah,
right. We've gone over this word. You see that word? That's North Africa. That's why I said Cyrene. That's going to be tied to what? The Phoenicians and the black folk, right? In that area. Carthage, you know what I'm saying? This is Rome. This is the, you know what I mean? All right now. All right. Hannibal, all that right there. That's tied to that. That's how that place that's how we get the name Africa in the first place.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? From Rome. Just like how these freedmen are tied, the word freedmen is tied to Rome. Now, Libertinis. Liberty. So this is said, will explain close juxtaposition with Cyrene, Swiss recognizes, and there's the Greek right there, in the Council of Carthage. See, I ain't making this up. In 411, quoted in Witzel Handbuch der Kirche. I messed that all up. My son sound German.
I don't know what the
Yeah, I don't know where the boy. Listen here.
Kirklich.
We find. Look, it says we find an episcopus. Sound like episcopal, huh?
Episcopus, yeah, Episcopus.
Episcopus.
Libertinus.
Look at that now. Look, let you know, Africa. There's people being called freedmen. Ancient time in Rome. Jews, they saying, in Africa. Oh, Jews, Africa, with other people in Africa that are underneath Rome, going to this synagogue, tied to being called freedmen. Acts 6:9. See what I'm talking about? Yeah, just let y'all know. You know what I mean? It's interesting how that worked. You know what I'm saying? I see how you someone just put Liberia. Oh, libertine. Oh, you see that? Liberia, not libertine. Like Liberia, yeah.
And then bro say, ain't Washington, D.C. the referee today?
That's what they is today. Go ahead, Derek.
Yeah.
Just like Rome, the referee.
It's the Roman province. It's a Roman province.
Let's go Columbia. You heard me?
Yeah. Hey, hold on real quick, bro. You
can't make it up.
You gonna keep reading on this?
I'm
gonna keep reading this?
To show that source. So that
okay.
You can go to the definition real quick, and then we can get it in. You know what I'm saying? The takeoff. You know what I mean? That's what to show the source tied to the biblical part and how, you know, all that's connected, and how Rome, outside of the biblical part, will show you that they're documented that, you know what I mean? This term freedman is being used amongst Jews and other groups of people underneath the Roman system. So much they want that link.
Oh yeah, I bet. Hold on, one second.
Hey, we'll give you the link. Ain't no pressure. You can have that.
It's in the chat right now.
Yeah. That's there. So you know, they know good and well when they set up shop like that with the freedman term in the biblical sense on how they threw it at us right here. But okay, there we go. This is the Libertini definition. You know what I mean? It's kind of small. I don't know if people gonna be able to see that. I just want to show the definition. Liberty? You see how that look? Liberty or Libertini?
Yeah, I'll read it.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It says Latin and Roman law, freedmen. There seems to have been some difference in the use of these two words, the former denoting the manumitted slaves considered in their relations with their former master, who is now called their patron, the latter term describing the status of the same persons in the general social economy of Rome. That's all right. They don't give shit else. But yeah.
That's all I want to say. How you ended on Rome, man. That's what
Rome.
you're talking about. Rome. It's no America borrowed certain things from out of that. Influence. Using terminology. That's the origin of where. And it's interesting that black folk, as we just said, Carthage, where the term Africa comes from, and all of a sudden, some people make it seem like black folk.
Hey, I'll be right back, bro.
Yeah. Some people make it seem like black folk ain't been tied to Rome or Roman history time. Like Rome, you don't got to go no biblical thing actually when you go to Rome, and they'll tell you their interactions with people today. They like to use the terminology Africa. But Rome likes to use that term. So when we go into it, like, you know what I'm saying, today, it's interesting how, you know, through the people that talk about their lineage and foundation would want to use, you know, this as an identifier, even though you can't deny it as a status tied to the American ideal of what we went through, as you know, as America is like the new Rome. You know what I'm saying? And how we went through transitions of, you know, where there was churches and free people of color at these churches and stuff, as we went through Virginia and Philadelphia, showing that. And they even used the word African, African Methodist Episcopal Church. And they were free people. Right now, some people say they went through manumission. They were manumitted, and if they were manumitted, they was able to go do their thing. However, the case that happened took place. They were doing this through the churches and different things prior to the abolitionist movement and all that, prior to 1865. So we already showed you there's free people of color already before 1865. You heard me? So ain't no reason for me to front on that. That's just the facts. So Oh yeah, we don't do just guests jumping up out of nowhere, brother.
I don't know this nigga thing. This ain't that type of party, homie.
Yeah,
yeah. Appreciate you for coming, but you get we don't even know you, bro.
So
this is great.
Shout out to you, though.
Yeah, shout out to you, bro.
But yeah, man. But that situation is really laid out with that. That's why the whole Roman structure and how it influences America today. You know what I mean? Our District of Columbia and all that. So what's the next source real quick? Let's get to it. I think Roman joint, they're going to kind of say some things now that we read that to them. Because we can get into the...
you trying to go to that YouTube shit?
The Roman joint real quick. Give them a little something. I want to make sure y'all know it ain't no going around this, right? If y'all didn't know, I heard people in the chat already saying it themselves. That's what's up. Y'all should know we been saying Rome's the referee. You know what I'm saying? Terminology is being used, tied to people today identifying with certain things. We got Greek organizations, don't we? You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of black folk in them Greek, you know what I'm saying? Roman ideals. Roman influence.
They say which Rome? Holy Roman Empire or just Rome?
Well, I'm talking about from the beginning. Go back to Rome in the time frame of the New Testament time frame, first century, if you want to. Now we ain't talking about later on what you call the Vatican and all that tied to the popes that came about later on. We talking about the original Rome. Which Rome? The one that's using it in the time frame when they're talking about it in the biblical sense. That's what Rome we talking about. Matter of fact, here you go. This should answer your question. Tap in.
All right.
Streets of Rome. Merchants shout to sell their goods. Senators in flowing togas discuss politics, and former slaves, now freedmen, walk among them. These individuals are navigating a society that granted them freedom, but held on to a stigma that never fully allowed them to forget their past. This is the story of Roman freedmen, or liberti, men and women who managed to leave behind the chains of slavery, yet faced a lifetime of complex restrictions, expectations, and challenges. Today, we'll delve into the unique and often difficult position of freedmen in ancient Rome, exploring their legal status, the process of gaining freedom, the limitations they faced, and the ways they carved out paths of influence and respect in Roman society. In Roman society, freedmen were former slaves who had been manumitted, that is, legally freed from servitude. Known as liberti, or libertini in Latin, they occupied a unique place, positioned between the freeborn citizens of Rome and those who remained enslaved. Manumission granted them certain legal rights, yet freedom for these individuals was never absolute. Male freedmen could become Roman citizens and gain rights to vote. However, this freedom came with boundaries. They couldn't run for political office, nor could they join social hierarchies. So, how did slaves become freedmen in ancient Rome? The process of manumission could take several forms. The first, manumissio vindicta, was a formal ceremony before a magistrate, often a public affair symbolizing the transfer from slavery to freedom. Then there was manumissio censu, where a slave was registered as a freedman in the Roman census, a symbolic inclusion into the state. And lastly, manumissio testamento, where a master would grant freedom through their will, a final act ensuring the slave's future independence. While some masters freed slaves to reward loyalty, others used it as a strategic tool, hoping to motivate other slaves to work diligently in the hope of eventual freedom. However, even after being freed, many were still bound by obligations to their former masters. Freedmen had to show continued respect, or obsequium, often involving financial support or several days of work each year for their former master's household. Even after manumission, freedmen carried what the Romans called the macula servitutis, or the stain of slavery. This wasn't merely a metaphor, but a social label that former slaves could never entirely escape. They faced prejudice and discrimination, particularly from Rome's elite, who believed that servitude had left a lasting moral taint. Freedmen were often stereotyped in Roman literature as deceitful or subservient, a narrative that only reinforced the barriers they faced. Legally, freedmen were barred from higher political office, as their social origins were seen as incompatible with Rome's ideals of leadership. Additionally, they couldn't marry into the upper echelons of society. This restriction extended beyond freedmen themselves to their descendants, who were often marked by their ancestors' former servitude. Freedwomen, or female freed slaves, faced their own limitations. While they were protected from being forced into prostitution, their rights were generally limited, with few pathways for social mobility. However, some free they contributed to public life in a more indirect way. Despite these challenges, many freedmen defied expectations, achieving success through business, trade, and public contributions. While they couldn't hold political office, they often wielded influence through their free-born children, who, by virtue of their birth, could rise in status. In Roman colonies, where social dynamics were somewhat more flexible, freedmen could sometimes impact local politics through their family connections, shaping their community from behind the scenes. Wealthy freedmen often donated to their communities, funding public works or donating to municipal treasuries. Some left substantial sums in their wills for causes that would benefit the public, a way of enhancing their own legacy while reinforcing their status within the community. By building or restoring roads or by funding temples, freedmen contributed visibly to Roman society and often won respect from their communities despite lingering prejudice. For freedmen with unique skills, there were opportunities to make a name for themselves. Educated slaves, upon manumission, could become respected teachers, writers, or administrators. Wealthy freedmen also joined religious or social organizations like the Sodales Augustales, which allowed them to participate in public life and engage with Roman traditions, further embedding themselves within society. Under the Roman emperors, especially during the rule of Claudius, certain freedmen rose to incredible heights of influence. Known as the Familia Caesaris, the emperor's household, these freedmen worked closely with the emperor and wielded substantial power. One notable example was Marcus Antonius Pallas, who served under Emperor Claudius. Originally a Greek slave, Pallas managed to become one of the wealthiest and most influential men in Rome. Acting as a secretary of the treasury, he advised Claudius and was instrumental in supporting Agrippina the Younger's ambitions. Other powerful freedmen like Narcissus and Callistus similarly became close advisors, often acting as intermediaries between the emperor and Rome's political elite. Though these freedmen had no official political standing, their proximity to the emperor gave them significant, albeit controversial, influence. Yet, for every success story, many freedmen remained marginalized, facing social stigma that even wealth and influence could not fully erase. Their stain of slavery persisted, affecting not only their own lives, but also those of their children and grandchildren. Roman society remained hierarchical, and the freeborn elite never let freedmen forget their origins. In the eyes of many, a former slave, regardless of wealth or success, was forever marked by their past servitude. But freedmen found ways to navigate these limitations. They built legacies in their children, celebrated their hard-won freedom in inscriptions, and participated in community life. They honored their citizenship and adopted Roman values, and by doing so, they continually negotiated their identity within Rome's rigid social structure. Freedmen in ancient Rome were proof of Rome's complex social fabric. Though they were bound by legal limitations and the stain of their origins, many freedmen managed to thrive. They contributed to Rome's economy, engaged in public works, and even influenced imperial administration. Their lives and legacies remind us of a society that, despite its rigid hierarchy, offered avenues, however narrow, for change, resilience, and agency. In the end, freedmen's stories are a testament to the paradox of Roman freedom, where citizenship was granted, yet full acceptance was withheld. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the lives of Roman freedmen. If you enjoyed this journey, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep.
Hey, shout out to them for the video, The Forbidden Ball.
Yeah, that was good, right? Well, how
Yeah, it was a good breakdown. They was in the chat talking about they ain't know if this was the 1860s or 200. Hey, that's funny because yeah, same system, bro.
System very, you know what I mean? Look at American freedmen, Roman freedmen. Boy, look at that blueprint. You know what I'm saying? Look how we were treated. The people that today, say, hey, we freedmen. We was in America. We went through these things and how they limited us, right? You know what I'm saying? From like Paul Cuffey talking about taxation without representation. That's free people of color saying that. This is before emancipation and all that took place on the federal level. So we already have free people already saying, man, like we free in this bit, but you ain't letting us do all the things we're supposed to be able to do. You know what I'm saying? You're limiting us. It's like a second-class citizen. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Origins of freedmen. So obviously we just showed you all this. We're just gonna go through this real quick since I think that video covered a lot, so I ain't have to really compound it on this right here. So Roman law to the New Testament and beyond. So obviously, what does freedmen mean? We just showed you all that. You just heard it. You heard me? So legally emancipated, legal status, not ethnicity at all. Once again, not ethnicity, status, which means other groups of people could be, even the Roman tell you that. Now everybody had to be just the Jew, even though it was Jews that were libertini, right? But there's other people too. However, Old English, right? This is the word etymology, why we use it today in America, right? You know what I'm saying? We don't use the Latin, like nigga. Nigga would say libertini. Latin, get it? Nigga, Latin. Anyways, slide down. Ancient Rome, service. You see that word? Like how we say today, service. You know what I mean? We provide a service, right? That was the term tied to slave. Today, when we say Slavic, because that's where how it transferred over. Interesting enough, right? You know what I mean? And then libertas meant a freed slave, right? And then a ingenuus meant was somebody born free. So meaning you could have been a service in Roman time frame,
or
right?
indigenous.
It's funny how I said it sound like indigenous, right?
Yeah.
But interesting. But service equals slave, but then it's showing you how the process go from a service, meaning if you was a slave, then you were libertas, right? Because then you were freed, emancipated, emanumated, etc. And then you had children who now are being born free. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because of your status, they're allowed to be free now because you became free, and now they are born free. See what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's how. Ain't that funny? How they kind of like said. That's why last week we were talking about Virginia's laws. Like not last week, last time we were live, and how they said the status of the mother, right? The child would be the status of the mother when they made the matriarchal move they called themselves making was how they were trying to keep us actually in a perpetual situation because women would never have the right to vote in how they had the system at that time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they knew the child was always going to be in a certain status of the mother. Ain't that some shit? However, this is ancient time. Slide down when it comes to what we see here. Born in the free. You know what I mean? Rights, property, business, marriage, legal protection, some political limits remain. You heard me? So within that, you know what I mean? Let you know how that worked within it. And how it works over here in America too, right? Comparison wise. Just hope to make you think a little bit about it. Let's go ahead and slide down. Acts 6:9, as we showed you earlier. Synagogue of Freedmen. Greek would be libertini. From Latin, again, you see the word liberty. Liberty is justice for all. In English, we say liberty, right? We were fighting for what? Equality, right? To be treated like every man, human, within the nation.
Yep.
Geographic associations, obviously, serene places that's in the book, ancient Rome, even Asia. So Rome had people in Asia that were freedmen. You heard me? Yep. All right, so to show you. Legal status. Freedmen describe legal condition, not ethnicity. We want to make sure that's being showed you in the Roman sense, and that was also being done in Americas too. You know what I mean? So some people want to think that, funny enough, and I'm gonna show that tonight in how example of what it just showed with that ethnicity part in an American sense of how people with mixtures that we talked about, you know what I mean? That could have been labeled free people of color or later on now being labeled freedmen would obviously be categorized once they come out of that in this new system we in. Yeah. Civil rights and civil services. Yeah, you heard about that. You see that, freedmen. That's why we fighting for civil rights, not human rights, right? On a national scale of who we are as Americans. Because we're Americans, right? But we want to still deal with the freedmen idea because the civil part that we want fighting for the equality and the justice for all and the principle of us being discriminated against because of our ethnicity tied to the term Negro, right? Right?
Yep.
Right. Okay. All right. So Roman legacy, institutional influence, later European law. So as we see, See, I want y'all to see the link. See, because we like, man, how you go? Because the Europeans we know were the ones now going into time frames such as France, Spain, Portugal, right? And how they're dealing with the Rome Catholic Church, right? The Holy Empire, Roman Empire situation, right? And how they are doing things in this time frame, and how the Europeans adopted that law system, and why we have Latin to this day tied to our law system in America. Latin.
Yeah.
Law. So we can keep sliding. Roman Reconstruction. So obviously we in America in the context here went straight from European, because now we in America, right? So in an American sense, we see that it says after 1865, freedmen referred to formerly enslaved, and they say African Americans because one try to see today people like to go with that term. We show you Ramona, the lady who gave us that coined this term. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, we know good and well. I want to think about it like, was she thinking about the freedman term and the Roman ideal of it is why she wanted to go with the word African in front? Because how we showed you the term Cyrene tied to Carthage and North Africa and them people. Anyways, however, I don't know what influenced her to do that when it was already the Negro.
That's a good question.
Negro, colored, free people of color. In the French jurisdictions, they used the term "je ne colore libre," tied to libertini. You know what I'm talking about? And their transition coming into the system of being called free people or freedmen. So Reconstruction shows that part come in. That's obviously tied to the amendments, tied to the Reconstruction, which is the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment. So we're sliding down, right?
Which is very critical.
Very critical. So in the conclusion of that, you know what I mean? Origin is Roman law. Biblical usage reflects legal status within the context when you read Acts 6:9. And obviously, we just showed you all that. So that's the Roman part, you know what I mean, and all that right there. So now we're going to get, hope that's everybody that's out there live and after the fact, you're seeing that this is the legal status term, you know what I'm saying? And isn't tied to an ethnicity, even though we know in America, 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. But then that's where that picture comes in at, bro. That screenshot I sent you.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me read it now. Because this, I think, is the perfect time for you going to mechanic while you load up the next joint. Yeah, go ahead. I wish this bad boy was bigger.
Yeah, because let me see. See it show up small. Oh, it's not too bad.
Well, I mean, hey, as long as they can see it, that we got it up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they should be able to see it. Well, yeah, they should be able to see it.
Well, your eyes are a little bit better than mine. Can you read
which one? 3 or 4 or both?
Go to 3. Go to 3.
All right. It say all natives are not citizens of the United States. The descendants of the Aborigines and those of African origin are not entitled to the rights of citizens. Anterior to the adoption of the Constitution of the United States, each state had the right to make citizens of such persons as it pleased. That Constitution does not authorize any but white persons to become citizens of the United States, and it must therefore be presumed that no one is a citizen who is not white. Then it lists its source here.
Right now, source now. I seen this in the debate. They were having a debate, actually, funny enough, and somebody pulled this up. Now, you know, so I want to give context because I thought it was kind of a Freedman conversation, right? And all we just got through showing ethnicity, and that ethnicity has nothing to do with the term Freedman being applied to certain people, right? So in the context of this, it's funny enough, you saw Aborigines in this bad boy, right? Right? You want to look at, so if anybody want to know what source is this from? So I'm gonna tell you, this is from the Bouvier's, and that's a BOUVIER apostrophe S law dictionary, specifically the entry for citizen. All right, freedmen became citizens, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
When the person that used this, they were using it out of context like a mug, because they were saying we citizens today, and that we can never be citizens of the United States of America, even though we just broke down the 13th, 14th, and 15th Reconstruction time frame of what allowed us to become citizens. Hello? You know what I mean? And that the term freedmen would be used in a way of showing the process of us being federally manumitted, now supposed to be given full protection of United States of America's, you know what I mean, system, state to state, on the federal level. So
yeah,
at this point of what is the process and why the term is being used, like how we just showed you how Rome used it. You know what I mean? Them people didn't stop dealing with their ethnicity just because they were called freedmen.
right.
They didn't stop their language. They didn't stop the culture and the religious things. These people were still doing their thing. They just had to how they were going to be governed within that now what? Imperial system, right?
Right.
Of you now not being able to do certain things. But you can't become a senator now. You ain't going to get into their governments, you know what I mean, positions or something. You can become a part of the army, though. You know, you can, you can serve in the military. So, and obviously we know Black folk have done plenty of that. So throughout the whole time frame of American history, ain't that something? So within the context of this law dictionary, you know what I mean, it says the wording matches the early editions of Bouvier's dictionary, first published in 1839, with later revisions additions. It says the bottom of your screenshot, because that's what I had to throw this in chat for y'all, so make sure y'all got where the source came from. It says that a law dictionary adapted to the Constitution, which is full title. It says a law dictionary adapted to the Constitution and laws of the United States of America by John Bouvier. It says the passage you highlighted reads, all natives and not citizens of the United States, the descendants of Aborigines and those of African origin are not entitled to the rights of citizens. This is time frame before. This is before this book, this law part book, everything. Make sure y'all know it's before what? 1865.
Right.
So that's why it's important, because within this, when the person was saying it, right, in the context of us being American citizens today, no matter what your ethnicity is, as being called a Negro, has nothing to do with that either. It says important later developments, as it's going to show, that the statement was superseded by the constitutional charges after what we just showed y'all, the Civil War, going into what? The 14th Amendment, 1868, established birthright U.S. citizenship for nearly everyone born in the United States. It didn't say ethnicity.
Game changer.
Say niggas. You know what I'm talking about?
Everybody has that same exact citizenship, bro.
Same. Now you
that whole second-class citizenship, shit.
You know,
it was only because of the way that they chose to promote and govern a certain race. That was all by design in the plan, but it wasn't because of the type of citizenship that we held. It just was because that's what they needed to do to accomplish the rest of the goal to get all the land.
Right. Now, within the same book, though, funny enough, most Native Americans is saying, Aborigines, I guess you know what they want to use the word, were later granted U.S. citizenship by Indian Citizenship Act of 1924. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So within the process of how people became allowed into the citizenship situation, you know what I mean? See how from state to the federal, right? From the state to the federal. And so your people could have been free in Maryland, Philadelphia, Virginia, Louisiana, Florida, parts of Georgia, Alabama, prior to 1865. It's just that you weren't on a federal level free to move as a citizen type situation with the protections through
you
all
were
the
a state citizen
of different state jurisdictions. Every state has what? A constitution.
Right. It wasn't like now where you can just easily go catch no flight to go. Niggas wasn't even going to other places like that unless they was going to move.
Right. Exactly. So at the end of the day, you know, provisions were made within that whole situation. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why I want to show this right here before we. And now you can go to my next chunk. Now I think that alley-oops to it. What they do? What up, y'all? Yeah, for sure. Peace to everybody in the chat tapping in.
So it gotta be with the treaties.
Yeah. I want to show them treaties real quick since we just showed that right there, right? 1924 the treaties. And I got a shout out to Miss Sherry and Miss Angela and them, Trail, Friday night, I was looking for something. They helped me find it because I was like, bro, I'm trying to find this thing. But I came across something, stumbled, and it goes into this right here too. Since we're in the ethnic part of people being labeled within the system, man. Because this is, look, I just read that Bovier's joint, right? So that Bovier, right? What I just read, make sure I just read, y'all just seen it now. It was the original one, peak game now. First published in 1839. Now you see, I'm coming from .gov. I don't know. It should be straight though. Hopefully.
Nah, it's straight. I'm trying to load the see if I show the images here, because I got the whole book, but I want to see some what they got. Oh, it ain't never the same.
Were you what? You see how I said from 1778 to 1837?
Oh damn! Stop loading this. You can hear me again, bro?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Nah, that was me. I tried to load that shit, froze my shit. I got the book though. Where you want me to go with it?
No, I mean this is just a source of something tied to this book. I mean that book, that law book, right? I was talking about why Indians couldn't be citizens of the fact that they were tied to their own nations based off the treaties.
Right. They need to be no federal. Why would they want to be United States citizens? They got their own shit.
Or the federal, because they underneath their own national jurisdiction at this present time with these treaties laid out.
Exactly.
And if anybody's living in their jurisdiction, they got to go through a certain system to be a part of that nation. Jurisdiction. Yep. Yeah, that's right. They like something we would call it manumission. The Indians had a system too. That's what especially the five civilized. They borrowed from the same system. Why the term freedmen is popular amongst five civilized tribes and not others, even though others had different ethnic mixtures, etc., going on too. They just didn't use the same terminologies because they weren't, just shows that there was a difference. But either way, this source right here, you can throw this in the chat for folks. Just some treaty you might want to. It's tied to freedmen and everything in it. You know what I'm saying too. That's why also it's tied to this because of certain things tied to the term freedmen in history. So I found it was, what I mean. I want to highlight it. You know what I'm saying. I think I got one more that I sent you to, but it might be the same source actually. I think it's just two different places within it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and read this cattle one in detail because I want to see. Because around the same time is when my ancestors came into this area from Alabama and Mississippi. Because they didn't come into the early 1800s before the Civil War time frame. They came into Louisiana, but they came into land already when they came. So, I think that was part of the treaty play. You know what I'm saying? If you chose to go settle anywhere within this territory y'all got, you can go in. A lot of folks were going to Louisiana because it wasn't a part of what they had going on. You know what I'm saying? So I got to look into that. But yeah, I put the link in the chat for anybody want to go check it out.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I found that interesting. Something, the term freedmen and the treaties tied to, that link that I showed, we read from the screenshot of the Bovier's Law Dictionary, you know what I mean? And then shows how two different ethnic groups, and that's where it gets interesting too, because of how Jack Forbes has something that we're going to read from, and shows how this could be, lines can be blurred when people try to make it now as if it's the status of a people being labeled as if there's not other people also being called certain terminology. Because how me and you always we always talk about the treaty with the Choctaw, right?
Yeah.
And how it said if they didn't move, right, during Indian removal, they became in the status of free people of color and state citizens.
Correct.
Free people of color with the status that's the terminology that's going to be used for them at that point. And now they're underneath the jurisdiction of Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever state we want to go into. You heard me?
Right. Mississippi, Alabama, didn't matter. Same all over.
That's the category you're going to be in. This is prior to the freedmen federal terminology that we're
Right.
using.
They was already living free as state citizens in government, building shit. It was booming. This is when all the crops was doing the biggest numbers was pre-Civil War, right? That's historical fact that they put on the record that the crops was booming. Pre-Civil War, it was doing crazy numbers. So this is the time that the old ancestors, our ancestors, was working together, making shit happen, and it was booming down south. Not no white people that had no captured niggas making money. No.
Right, because guess what?
That's not what it was.
They only can focus on that because they're not allowed to be on the federal level, right? To become citizens, to be able to get in position.
And why would they care? Man, think about this. What
you got
do
the land?
The
you got
federal,
the land. You know the land. You got the
but
resources.
not even that. What did the federal government have in 1860 that the world would want? Think about this. What's so special at that time that when you got to be a part of wars? Ain't no bombs being dropped on America. Think about what I'm saying. What do they need from the federal government? They live off the land. They don't need nothing from no government. So they didn't even give a damn about no being no federal citizen at this time. What was the benefit? They thinking of it like it's today when you can go get you a social security number, go get you some assistance. There wasn't no assistance in 1860. You feel me?
Nah, man, hell no.
There was no benefit in that shit.
No, it's not the same, bro. It's not the same. You know what I mean? Nowhere close to.
But yeah, when you want to take it to?
Go to the next source.
That letter.
I'm gonna finish
right here.
Get out of here. Yeah.
I think I got it right here. Right here. Yep.
Yeah, make that a little bit bigger. Ooh, that's good. We were just talking about the Choctaw. Look. See, these are primary joints, right? Look. Yep. Secretary of the Interior, letter of the Secretary of the Interior. You know what I mean? Papers relating to the rights of freedmen under the 3D article of the treaty with the Choctaw and the Chickasaw nations of Indians concluded April 28th, 1866. So this is tied to how this is, you know, when they talk about how these people now are part of their nation, right? But your jurisdiction, you're a freedman. Because now they're making these people say, hey, if these people decide they want to go go other places, they can go free just like how the other people can go free anywhere now within the federal jurisdiction.
Yep.
And if you guys want to stay over here and mind your business on your jurisdiction, that's your business. But they're freedmen. That's what the treaties were tied to. Department of Interior. That's what he's talking about. It means them people were of that nation, property, working, service, and you know what I mean? Mixed, etc. You know what I mean? Some people are already being called free people of color. Because we just showed you the Choctaw that didn't leave their area and go to Indian territory. They're
majority
the free people of color. You know what I'm saying? Within that state, as state citizens, being called also Negroes.
Right.
I'm gonna show
like who finna leave at this time and go to a place they never been to? What sense would that make? The average person not gonna do that. They don't do it now.
Hey, listen here. That's why I think people getting conflated. You know what I'm saying? Between status and ethnicity when they try to go hard about this. You know what I mean? It's lineage based because you've tied to free people of color. You know what I mean? Which is a Black American thing. You know what I'm saying? That's a Negro terminology too. You know what I mean? Free people of color. It's tied to it, definitely. You know what I mean? But then that Negro part is where it gets conflated because not everybody that's being called a Negro necessarily is coming from out of somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So within the context or in the state that they're living in, etc., how the word's being used. So within that context, though, this is why when they did this Department of Interior and they submit these things, such as even the, especially the Seminole one. The Seminole one is a little more uniquer because they have the term Estalusti within it because those people were called Black folk Estalusti, you heard me? Part of the nation because they didn't enslave their folk and learn, you know what I mean? It's the same way other nations did, dealing with the term freedmen. You see what I'm saying? But still, because of what happened with those treaties, such as this one right here, example, they are now going to be called freedmen because it's a federal situation that's taking place. Emancipation.
Yeah.
And now the nation we call United States of America is now having to do a treaty not the ones that they did earlier, but these, especially for this group. What about all the other Indian groups in their situations? What, you saying it was only Negroes tied to those 5 civilized tribes? No.
Right.
And what about the fact that them same 5 civilized tribes enslaved other tribes?
Yeah.
War captives, as they would call it in
It was a
Rome.
war. Yeah.
You warring with other groups, guess what happens? They become captives. And what happens?
Yep.
There's a way for you to work your way out into society to become free.
Yeah.
Free. So that's something I think also is not being talked about, how a lot of people were taken under confederal terms, confederacies, and they lost their tribal status of being, big tribe, take small tribe, ain't it? So again, it's in there. That's I want to just show that right there. You know what I mean? Tied to just one of the treaties tied to the Freedmen. And before we go into the 5 civilized tribe build and everything,
because it's coming.
Because it's coming, right? So this is why Freedmen had to be covered first. So within that, what's my next source, man? I think are we?
I learned something today.
Appreciate
and then somebody else came and say, I got to figure out what's the jewels, bruh. We getting jewels. It's some type of gift, but appreciate whatever it is. We're going to figure it out, but appreciate it.
We dropping jewelry, you heard me? That's
yeah, because I honestly don't know. Jewels, definitely jewels.
You heard me? I appreciate you.
Yeah.
You heard me? I take all the jewelry. You know what I'm talking about?
And bruh say everybody that was called Negro. Yeah, for sure.
That's
maybe yeah, maybe but we definitely agree. That's our whole point. Matter of fact, it was way more people documented that was other things than Africans, but we can't say it was zero. But yeah, it's definitely not Negro and African is not synonymous, bro. That's facts.
Maverick, I think that goes right into where I want to go. Then I don't know did I put up did I put it in the order? Let me make sure. It should be right after that, ain't it? Yeah, it is. I'm right on point. Then go to the next joint. That's what we're gonna end on. You heard me? There's a good portion of this I want to make sure I read from for the show. It's 9. Where it says 9th?
Yeah, hold on, let me see. Oh yeah, I got that. Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah, let's go to that. You see, homeboy said everybody that was called Negro wasn't African, huh? But look what they say at the top in bold letters. The use of the terms Negro and Black to include persons of Native American ancestry in Anglo-North America. Lord. Listen here. See now, 1854 is before what time frame, y'all? 1865, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Look what it say. The California State Supreme Court sought to bar all non-Caucasians from equal citizenship and civil rights. The court stated the word Black may include all Negroes, but the term Negro does not include all Black persons. This is Supreme Court, y'all. Listen here.
Yep.
We are of the opinion that the words white, Negro, mulatto, and Black persons, whenever they occur in our Constitution, must be taken in their generic sense. That the words Black person in the 14th section must be taken as contradistinguished from white, and necessarily includes all races of all races. You heard that, y'all? Ethnic folk out there, how you identify. You heard me?
Oh.
You see that, right? All races other than the Caucasian.
You
start understanding white supremacy within the context of, when lawfully how it's being laid out, right? But then it says, as convoluted as the quote may be, it tends to express a strong tendency in the history of the United States toward creating 2 broad classes of people, white and non-white, citizen and non-citizen, or semi-citizen. Ooh, this is all tied to freedmen, or free people of color, All right, and Negroes. But I forgot, Negro ain't all people coming from Africa, huh? Listen, it just showed you that. So now we're gonna slide down. Slide down. We're gonna read on to this one. There's some good shit on here. Good boy, listen here. Jewelry. All right. The tendency to create a two-caste society often clashed with the reality of a territory which included many different types of people of all colors and different degrees of intermixture of European, American, African, and Asian. Native American people, whether of unmixed ancestry or mixed with other stocks, were at times affected by the tendency to create a purely white, black social system, especially when living away from the reservation or the ancestral homeland. In the British slave colonies of North America along the Atlantic coast, many persons of American ancestry were at times classified as blacks, Negroes, mulattoes, or people of color. You can't go around it now. Listen here. And these terms were, of course, used for people of African ancestry. Of course, you're in the loop too. Duh. It's just the manner in which Americans and part Americans were sometimes classified as mulattoes and people of color from New England to South Carolina and in the Spanish Empire are explored elsewhere. The purpose here is to illustrate how the term Negro has been applied to people of American descent. Y'all heard that, y'all?
Yep.
American descent.
Exploration in Ethnic Studies, Volume 7.
Ethnic, because you saw we talk about freedmen and it was talking about status, and then we just it said not ethnic. It tells you not ethnicity, right? Well, how are we looking at this? Remember, we chose the word color and Negro going into those Negro conventions, right? You know what I'm saying? Carter G. Woodson, state to state, right? We didn't even use the term African. Because why? Because everybody underneath the term free people of color, we can't say all we're Africans, can we?
Right.
But within the understanding of coming out of the time frame of being called a freedman on a federal level, emancipated through the process of what took place on a national scale of being now considered citizens of a nation, and obviously the term free people of color and Negro were the popular terms of the time frame, 19th century. Period. So we're gonna slide down. This is good. I'm telling you, some good stuff. I got to keep it going on this one. The possibility that Native Americans were quite commonly called Negroes. You heard that clear? The possibility that Aborigines, and see how that source, the Beauvais Law Dictionary called them Native Americans Aborigines, right?
Yep.
And that means them Aborigines can be called what? Negroes. Copper colored. And they get copper colored, so they can be called what? Negroes. It is very much supported by Portuguese usage. During the colonial period, Brazilian Indians were repeatedly referred to as what? Negroes, or as Negro de Terra, Negro of the land. A great many examples from the 16th and later centuries are cited by George, or you want to, take the E's missing for me, but Federici. Yeah, George Federici, or Georg, if it's not an either, just in case I'm keeping it honest. You know what I'm talking about? And it says, in his analysis of the Portuguese sources, these do not have to be repeated here. But suffice to say that it is so common that finally in 1755, a royal decree had to be issued as follows. It says, among the regrettable practices which have resulted in the disempargement of Indians, one prime abuse is the unjustifiable and scandalous practice of calling them Negroes. Perhaps by so doing, the intent was to no other than to induce in them the belief that by their origins they had been destined to be slaves of whites, as in generally conceded to be the case of blacks from the coast of Africa. The directors will not permit henceforth that anybody may refer to Indians as Negro, nor that they themselves may use this epithet among themselves, as is currently the case. As is what? Currently the case. What we doing now? We still using the term Negro. To this day.
With pride.
What are you talking about, Nick? Of course we is. What I'm talking about? Anyways, so this Portuguese usage is extremely significant, not only because American or part American slaves could refer to as Negroes in early shipment records, but also because it very much affects one's analysis of population statistics in colonial Brazil. Now that's Brazil, right? We like, man, well, that's Brazil, man. We in North America. Well, we're gonna keep it coming up now. I want you to make sure you see this now. Look, the SWAT term, look, it's going all in this right here, boy. Listen here. Insofar as the term Negro became synonymous with slave or servile status, it lost any specific color reference, became a general term of abuse. Darker people preferring to be called petro as a result. It is highly likely that the Spaniards also referred to slaves generally as Negroes in the Caribbean, and that the Dutch took over the same general practice, since Negro or Negar were not Dutch words and had no immediate equivalent except swart. Yeah, swarty, dunker. Yeah, and bruin, brown. A Dutch-French-Spanish dictionary of 1639 has the following entry for Spanish Negro: nor, sombre, look, obscur, right? Obscure, brun, French, swart, donker, bruin, Dutch. Thus, Spanish Negro could be translated as dark or brown, as well as black, swart. Undoubtedly, this usage facilitated making reference to all slaves as Negroes or Negars in the Dutch language. Moreover, it is significant that the Spaniard residing in Antwerp in early 17th century, the preparer of the dictionary, saw Negro as being translated in a number of ways in both French and Dutch. Oh, look here. By the later half of the 16th century, the English were referring to the people of Africa as what? Ethiopians, blackamoors, Negroes, and Moors, somewhat interchangeably. Negro gradually came to be the dominant term, especially after exhaustive contact with the Spanish. So all of that right there is in there, right? All of that. Look, in Virginia, see, we were just on Virginia a couple weeks ago, you heard? So it's showing you here and how we now in North America. See, even though the Portuguese are, you're like, so no, man, we get to North America, just like how we just got to talk about Virginia. I landed on this for a reason, right? So it say, and that, like, they start right there. It says, in any case, another association gradually arose, and that was between Negro and slave. Early legislation commonly referred to Negro and other slaves, or to Negro, mulatto, and Indian slaves. Over the years, Negro and Black both became synonymous with enslavement. In 1702, an observer wrote that the wealth of Virginia consisted of slaves or Negroes. By 1806, Virginia judges ruled that a person who was of white appearance was to be presumed free. But in the case of a person visibly appearing to be of the slave race, it is incumbent upon him to make out his freedom. Which means if you were dark-skinned, you had to be able to present that you were free, man. Because if not, they're presuming you as a slave. That's because of your skin complexion. And it says in 1819, South Carolina, the judges stated flatly, the word Negroes has fixed meaning. Fixed meaning? Kind of like how we, before we got to the term freedmen, right?
Yep.
And how the word freedman is a status, right? So now they're telling you that this word Negro has become a what term in time frame of what it became in the colonies in the States. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Colored folk. That's why they like colored more than that. But see, what the English meant the term Negro when it first began to use it is not clear. Certainly, I think I read that right there. Yeah, I read that. No.
Nah.
I didn't. Okay, hold on.
They just reiterating some of the same stuff, but it's a different paragraph.
Exactly. All right, but so what the English meant by the term Negro, when they first began to use it, it is not clear. Certainly, it was not synonymous with slave, as a great many persons so classified were free. Huh? What is that? What is that? That's right. It's changed. Oh, wait a minute, huh? They free? Both in England and in Virginia. See, we just came out of Virginia so I wanted to show this right here, how it worked. Got to give you an example, right? Did it mean an African, a Black person, or any dark-skinned individual? Question mark. Today, the term is not widely employed in Britain, although the word black is used to refer to people of various skin colors from all of South Asia, the Middle East, and the West Indies. And Africa. Most Native Americans, if living in Britain today, would be regarded as what? Black. Especially if their ancestors were not known. Boy, you see how that working?
Mm-hmm.
You can't make this up. Slide down. Negro also used in general way in North American colonies. Some examples illustrate the use of Negro and Black as applied to people of American ancestry. So an example from the West Indies is especially illuminating. In 1764, William Young was sent to St. Vincent as part of the British occupation of the island. Living on St. Vincent were 3,000 Black Caribs, or free Negroes, about 100 Red Caribs, or Indians, and some 4,000 French and their slaves, according to Young. The British found it difficult to control the Caribs, and wars were fought with them in 1771 and 72. And again during 95 and 96, 1700s. Then it says, during the latter crisis, Young wrote an extremely anti-Carib tract designed to prove that the Caribs should be removed from St. Vincent, and they were eventually defeated, and some 5,000 were shipped to the island near the coast of Honduras. Young was anxious to prove that the so-called Black Caribs were not aborigines, not true aborigines, but were in fact Negro colonists. Free Negroes. Or, Negro usurpers. This was important to him because he wanted to show they had no bona fide land rights or aboriginal title. So with all that's in context of this right here. So, mixed up tawny, you see the word tawny coming up? You know what I mean? I'll give a couple more examples before we get out of here. I want to read a good part of this right here because I felt like, you know.
Yeah, you got it reiterate the points very clearly. What's being said now in this time frame, we've been hitting this 1700 mid to late when they showing all these firsthand accounts of what people is talking about, bro.
Right, exactly. There's one more part I want you to read from before we get out of here tonight.
Yeah.
Slide down a little bit more. What's the last part? 1619. Remember how we was just talking about in Virginia? 1619, the whole project?
Yep.
I wanted to read this part. So
this part?
Yeah, that, from 1619 down to that. We're going to stop there. That's all. That's my last example. It says in 1619, some 20 Negroes were brought to Virginia. At least 11 had names of Spanish or probably Spanish character. Later, they were joined by Negroes and mulattoes with names such as Antonio, several, John Pedro. These Spanish-derived servants could well have been of part American ancestry. However, no evidence is available except that they were largely secured from captured Spanish vessels. It says in 1676, one Goen, an Indian servant, acquired his freedom in Virginia. 2 decades earlier, Mahil Goen, called a Negro, also acquired his freedom. It will appear that the Negro was probably father to an Indian in this case. It says in 1670, the population of Virginia colony was said to be 40,000, including 2,000 black slaves. Evidence indicates that there could not have been that many Africans there, and also that there were a great many American slaves or servants. Thus, the total of blacks must have included a good many Americans. In 1698, 3 fugitives, Negroes, were reported in North Carolina, of whom one was an American. Similarly, a list of Negroes imported into Virginia, 17 to 1718, by sea includes at least 69 Indians, mostly from the Carolinas. Likewise, list of Negroes brought into New York from 1715 to 36 include many slaves of probable or stated American ancestry from the Campeche, Jamaica, Honduras, the Carolinas, and Virginia. So it's clearly let you know, as we just covered Virginia, how people of color, free people of color, the terminology being used, right? You see what I'm saying? And there's Jack Wars gives you the places and prior to, you know what I mean? And that goes with people being free, indentured, enslaved, and how the word Negro is being used. It's not, you see here, it's not tied to, they can't lock it down to just saying it was a strictly one ethnic group of people being called Negro.
Right.
So I think, and how that's tied to the term freedman, because if you're a manumitted, then no longer you would be considered a slave. That's why they use the term free people of color. And in the French, they say "gens de couleur libre."
Yep.
So, color folk out there, all complexions, from brown to tawny to swarthy complexions, my niggas. We here there today as Americans, though. You know what I'm saying? Because that's your nationality. So now, a matter of the mixture, if it's indigenous, if it's from North Africa, West Africa, or from European territories, I don't care. At the end of the day, you know, after what happened with the term status, freedman, it's a status. Just like how the word Negro is a status. See what I'm saying? Turned into a status from a complexion, right? So this last joint right here, 1715, 1717 period of vestry books of King William's Parish, Virginia. Records 1 year, Robin and Indian, and 2 years later, Robin and Negro. In similar manner, in 1691, list of Negro slaves in York County, Virginia, includes Kate Indian, while in 1728, list of Negroes at the home house of a Virginia planter includes Indian Robin. Robin, incidentally, is a common name for slaves of American ancestry. In 1748, there was an advertisement in New York for, I think that's a Negro man, but you got it covered. I don't want to misspeak. Yeah, slide up. Negro man, servant called Robin, almost of the complexion of an Indian. Talks good English, can read and write, and plays on the fiddle. In 1723, Virginia adopted the law depriving free Negroes. See how we were talking about Virginia, right? See how this works?
Mm-hmm.
Free Negroes. 1723, Virginia adopted the law depriving free Negroes, mulattoes, and Indians of certain basic civil rights. The act was disallowed by British officials, but in 1735, Lieutenant Governor Gooch defended it by asserting that he wanted to make a perpetual brand upon free Negroes and mulattoes by excluding them from that great privilege of a free man. Freedman. Free man or freedmen? Wait, this is way before the term freedman is thrown around, right?
Yep.
Freeman without the D, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It says he wanted to make the free Negroes sensible that a distinction ought to be made between their offspring and the descendants of an Englishman, with whom they never were to be accounted equal. But we obviously know after the 13th, 14th Amendment, 15th Amendment, equality tied to equal became what we're supposed to get. And there's things that we happened after the fact too. But this just led to, you know, I want to land on the freedman part with the free man. You hear me?
Yeah.
Because today we free men as Americans today, no matter how you look at it, my niggas. So that's what I got on it. Freedman, I hope everybody got that with the Freedman bill. And so shout out to everybody that's tapped in with us live right now. You heard me? And
it was a good one.
You know, hope y'all caught it. You heard me? From the Roman time period to American time period, the comparisons, the law systems, all that, all in one. You know what I mean? Also, people, different ethnic groups of people being called it, and Roman time frame, just like how in America the word Negro got thrown around because of what we know about, and how it's not tied to just even, you can't even trace it to one ethnic group in American colonies at this time frame. You see what I'm saying? Even though we know most people think the word Negro, we obviously think of people they say as Africans. So go ahead. What's your thoughts before we get out of here, Monte?
Nah, I think, like, you know, breaking down the fact that it's people wanting to attach themselves to this term, not understanding this ain't there's nothing special about it except for the fact that if your people was here to even be called that term, that is a major point because it's showing you that your folks got a lot of history to this land, but it wasn't meant for something for us to be like, that's not a lineage. That's not a, you know what I mean? It's not an ideology even. This ain't nothing but another term, a part of a system used to reclassify people. Feel me? So understanding all these things is important because there's some folks who just rest in their whole research on the fact that they are freedmen. But bro, that don't mean that don't tell your story. You know what I'm saying?
It's just a part of the story.
It's just a part of the story.
Part of the story, but it don't tell you. It can't tell you your lineage. It can't tell you your ancestry. It can't tell you you mixed or if your people were strictly just brought on slave ships from out of West Africa. It can't tell you none of those things as we just broke down and showed. It can't do that.
Facts.
And that's a fact. So with that being said, I'm gone.
Hey,
Maranatha.
Peace to the party.
Peace to the party. Peace, y'all.
This could take quite a bit of time.
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke but a pair of races? My lineage free people of color with a left maker. Each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeeze. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments tried to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Estelusti. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Ruchis. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black forces the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. You never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine.
75% of Americans currently do not have an estate plan. So who needs it and why? If you're over 18 and you don't know the answer to one of these questions, then it's probably you. So adults, who can make healthcare decisions for you if something were to happen today? Do you have the right set of documents to make sure your loved ones can be present for you? Parents, do you have the right set of guardianship documents to make sure that your children can be under the care of someone that you trust and that knows them, that cares for them and has their best interests at heart? Homeowners, would your family face probate if something were to happen to you today? Would you not rather make sure they don't face the delays, cost, and public nature of this court process? If any of these apply to you, here at Trusty Friend, we have simple planning options, whether you opt for a guided by a friend, guided by a planner, or guided by attorney option, making estate planning simple, affordable, and accessible to everybody. Don't believe me? Reach out to us today.
They changed our names, but the truth still lives.
Some say we came from far away. Some say we've always been right here. Two stories at the same doorway, both chasing what our hearts hold dear.
Old maps, new maps, who's to say? We just want the truth that they erase.
Two roads, one people,
still searching for the name they stole.
Baby, baby, two roads, one people,
still walking back to what we know.
Oh, we rise together, no matter which path we chose. No, 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 two roads, one people,
still coming home,
still coming home.
Some want unity to heal the pain, some want red cuts to clear the lies. But either way we break the chains and lift the story they deny. Lineage, memory, same heartbeat, just different ways to find our feet.
One people,
still searching for the generations into colors, but the truth kept living in our